Good morning, everybody. Today is episode 14 of Coffee with Raph. Today is actually one of the favorite episodes that I've ever prepared for you guys. We're going to be looking at how your character equals your life as art. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm quite thrilled about it. And so we are going to be talking about character, and we are going to take a chisel analogy. It's going to be quite fun. We're going to be looking at how Michelangelo, the artist, visioned his sculptures before he built them, and we will continue with Jim Rohn and his wisdom from the book Leading an Inspired Life. A lot to cover to it, so let's jump straight to the summary. In part 1, we will read some passages from Jim Rohn's book Leading an Inspired Life, and we will reflect on what it means to build a character and how to use it. Part 2, we'll take our journals out and we'll do some exercises to build on that wisdom. Part 3, I'll guide you through a visualization exercise so that you can create the blueprint in your mind before going into the material world. Part 4, we will repeat some empowering affirmations together. And finally, in part 5, we will do a guided meditation. I hope that you're excited. If so, press the like button and let's get started. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the YouTube channel if you're watching there. If you've never met, my name is Raphael, and on this channel, Monday to Friday, we do some morning shows together, a whole morning routine starting by reading, then journaling, then doing some affirmations, empowering affirmations, positive affirmations. We also do some visualizations, did I say that already? And some guided meditations, of course. If this is interesting to you, please do consider subscribing to the channel. All exercises and affirmations are available in our free worksheets. If you want to get those, you can subscribe to our free newsletter and you'll get them directly in your inbox every day. Everything that you need to know is in the description to this video below or in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast. You also can get me a coffee if you want to contribute to my caffeine intake. I really appreciate that. It helps the channel going. Let's start on today's episode by reading a passage from Jim Rohn's book, Leading an Inspired Life. It is in our reading, in our suggested reading list. I hope that you got the book and you started reading it a little bit. If so, let me know in the comments below. He says, and I quote, "Personal success is built on the foundation of character, and character is the result of hundreds and hundreds of choices you make that gradually turn who you are at any given moment until who you want to be." Character comes from a Greek word meaning chisel, or the mark left by a chisel. Of course, a chisel is a sharp steel tool used for making a sculpture out of a hard or difficult material like granite or marble. Character isn't a magic wand. Character comes from a chisel, and I hope you'll remember that. You have got to chisel your character out of the raw material of yourself, just like a sculpture has to create a statue. The raw material is always there, and everything that happens to you, good or bad, is an opportunity for building your character. End of quote. This is really cool. Imagine this little chisel and you forging your little not forging, but like sculpting your character with the chisel. Little tack, 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 like little piece by little piece. It is not like it's not a huge hammer. It's little things to be really precise and create that beautiful character that you want to embody every day. So imagine yourself, imagine if you were a raw material, and in order to create yourself with a big S, your character, you would use a chisel like a sculptor, not a magic wand, but a chisel. Let me know in the comments how this reflects on you, with you, and for some reason I'm in complete awe in front of that passage. It really reflects heavily on me. I really like this analogy. I like these little metaphors also. So imagine a famous sculptor with his little chisel creating a remarkable piece of art. What would that chisel do? What would it define? Well, it would define traits of characters, values, morals, virtues. And in order to chisel your character, you need to already have a very clear vision of what you want it to be. So first in your mind, like our visualization exercise, first in your mind and then in the material world. You have to have a clear vision of yourself at your best, the best version of yourself, living at your highest potential with your true capabilities. You envision that, and then with your chisel, you create it with all of your different traits of your character. This is a theme that we've talked about a lot here, actually, because it is really important. It was Renaissance artist Michelangelo who said that before making a sculpture such as the David, this famous David sculpture, he would look intently at the big piece of marble, and after that, after a while, usually a long while, he would see the beautiful statue. He would look at this block of marble and he would see the beautiful statue. So the only thing he had to do is just follow the lines of his vision, follow the lines of his mind, chisel away and make it come to life. It's also worth noting that when someone is working with a chisel, it's very minute work. Like I said before, tack, 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 tack. You have to hit millions of tiny, tiny times with these little hits over and over again. Like in your life, you would do with your habits or your mini habits or your micro habits even. One micro habit after another, one micro action, one micro decision after another. You need to be very patient. You need to be very steady. You need to be attentive, mindful, and carry one with making that beautiful piece of art that you are and that you can become. So before we get into the exercise for today, let's have a look at a quote by Michelangelo himself. And he says, I quote, "The greater danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss, but that it is too low and we reach it." End of quote. I love it. Remember that when you chisel your character away, aim for the highest version of yourself, not just a mediocre version. Envision this beautiful, full-on capabilities version of yourself. Aim to fulfill your full potential, not a little piece of it, your full potential. Remember why? Because you must, not because you can, because you must. What one can be, one must be. Think big, act small, and chisel away, okay? So I'm quite pumped up right now because I'm really inspired by this analogy. And let's take out our journals, take out your journals, and let's try to do a bit of memory work here. Okay, so what I want you to do is to write down something that happens to you. It can be a long time ago, it can be recently, something that helped you chisel your character. Maybe it's a seminar you took, maybe a coaching session you had, or maybe it was a book that you read, or maybe it was even an obstacle you had to learn to deal with recently, something like a challenge, a wall you had to break. It can be anything, really anything. Write it down, and once you're done, write how you find gratitude in that moment, in that event, in that obstacle, whatever it might be. Realize that these little moments where you broke the wall and faced fear head on, screaming, bring it on, directly at it, are these moments, these little moments where you have worked in building a strong character, a courageous character, a virtuous character. Okay, so if you need more time, please do pause this episode, and if you're good to go, let's continue with our visualization exercise. Close your eyes. And I want you to do a fun exercise that might be really weird also, but it's worth a try and I find it quite fun. I want you to imagine that you are a big block of stone. You saw me coming, no? Imagine you're a big block of stone, a beautiful big piece of raw material, raw marble, let's say, a beautiful piece of raw marble. And now imagine another part of yourself, or another version of yourself, just divide yourself in two. And that other part of yourself is standing next to that block of marble. What does he have in his hands? You've guessed it, a chisel. And now I want you to visualize who you want that marble to become. What is the most beautiful person you can make out of this piece of stone with your little chisel? What would be its main qualities? What would be its best character traits? What would be his or her values and her virtues? What would be his or her philosophy? You have carte blanche here. You're the artist, you're the creator. So create. Who would you make yourself to be? Take your time, make it fun, and be ambitious. I leave you at it for a few moments. Take that chisel and create. I hope this was fun. If you need more time, you can pause, or you can do it a second time this afternoon, maybe, or this evening before you go to bed. Very good exercise to do. It's quite relaxing. It's so much fun. And let's continue with our empowering affirmations here. First one is, I can chisel any character traits I wish. Second, I work on my character each day like an artist works on her art. Third, I am the creator of my own character and have artistic freedom over it. Next up, I chisel one small trait of character at a time. One small trait of character at a time. Last but not least, my favorite, my life is my art. Okay, and now let's start with our meditation, guided meditation session. Please close your eyes if they're not already closed. And we're going to be continuing like yesterday and the previous day on this path of doing nothing, just observing our breath, observing our bodies, observing our movements, the rhythm, when we breathe, the sensation of the air coming into our lungs and out through our mouths. And not controlling anything, just observing, watching, accepting what we see, accepting what we are, accepting where we are in our life paths. Because today was all about character, you can diverse a little bit and think about, or rather observe, your own traits of character. Now let's start counting our breaths. You can count 20 breaths. If you lose the count, go back to 1. Let's now take control of our breath for the last one, nice and deep, nice and slow, in through the belly, in through the nose. And on that exhalation, gently open your eyes. You can take a few moments to get back to yourself. It's been a good session. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're ready to take your shizzle today and build this character of yours, however it is that you want to envision yourself at your full potential, the best version of yourself. Just visualize it and shizzle away. Hope you've enjoyed this exercises, yes, but this episode in general. If you have, please press the like button. If you'd like to get me a new cup of coffee, then I would really appreciate it. All links are below. Get your free worksheets. Come say hello. And that's about it. Check out our reading list. That's quite important. I think that these books are worth a read. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.